Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Love for Intuitive Astrology. So I'm an intuitive astrologer and I combine my intuition with my knowledge of astrology. But this video is going to be a little bit off track. I want to talk in this video about my spiritual awakening. And I also want to give you tips on how to deal with it. And these are really coming from my own experience and really working with this experience for years. And I really feel that it's the time to share more information so you don't have to look it up or you know what you're going through is truly valid, because definitely your world will be upside down after a spiritual awakening, and it takes a lot of hard work and integration to really go back to the real world. Okay. Yeah, so I want to give you some tips. I want to share my story with you, and I really want to do it from the most authentic place possible. So when this happens to you, which I know more and more people are experiencing an awakening, you know what to do, or you feel heard, you feel seen, and this is very important to me, that you know that you're not going crazy, and this is something that really is happening, okay? And of course, this is not a replacement for any doctor's advice. So if you experience any physical symptoms that I'm going to share with you in this video, always go to the doctor. Same with mental health, but I do want to explain that some things could be coming from your spiritual awakening, okay? So going back to my childhood, I was definitely a very sensitive kid, but really my experiences started when I was 16. And funny enough, in Vedic astrology, my Jupiter Mahadasha, so my Jupiter period, started around this time. And for the people that know, my Jupiter is conjuncting my South Node. So I unlocked my spiritual gifts from a past life, and it went really quickly. The thing was that when I was 16, I was not vibrating on a very high frequency. So I saw the scary side of spirituality, okay? I saw entities, scary things, okay? And I just didn't want these gifts. I was like, give it to someone else. I don't want it. Give it to someone who wants this, because this is not fun at all. So I would already hear things, hear spirits, but not the right ones, okay? So I want to start with the dark stuff, and then I want to teach you how to go to the higher vibrations, because both of these things are part of opening up, okay? And it's super important to vibrate on a higher frequency. Otherwise, you will go into the lower dimensions, okay? And now, after this whole story, I know I had to experience the darker side as well, so I can advise people on how to work with that and how to get out of it, okay? So yeah, I saw really scary things like entities. They would attach to me because my aura was completely open. I had no idea what to do with it. So the only way I knew was to suppress it because at that time it wasn't so open yet as now. Like, you didn't really talk about it. Like, you would just suppress it and let it go. So yeah, I was really scared of it, to be honest, really scared. And I did experience a lot of the scary things. Like, I want to spare you the details, but you know, knocking on the doors, doors closing, opening, strange voices. So yeah, that was really scary, and I kind of shut it out, suppressed it, and you know, sleeping at night was not really fun, okay? It was not really fun. So then in 2015, must have been 2015. Yeah, in 2014, I was traveling a lot. Really had a beautiful time traveling. I went to Latin America, And yeah, just went with my backpack and traveled by myself, and it was such an amazing experience. And I already went to a lot of spiritual sites, so I feel like I was being prepared for my spiritual awakening for a really long time. I always had this awareness, like something is off here, like this world, something is off, like why aren't people questioning? So I had a lot of questions, but I was too scared to really dive deeper into it, because I was questioning, like, there is more than this. I experienced things in different dimensions, so there must be more than this. But I let it go. I enjoyed life the way I knew it. I studied, and in 2015 I moved to Malta, and I was trying to stay in the Netherlands, but I sent out around 40, yeah, it must have been 40 applications, and I wasn't hired anywhere. So in the end I moved to Malta, which is a very, very spiritual place. It is a really kind of a vortex. So when I moved there, I felt the energies went quicker, you know, and when the energies are higher, they expose the dark side, or you can go to the bright side, right? But in order to go to the light, you have to get rid of your blockages and get rid of the dark stuff. And you could really see in this country, on this island, the dark side and the bright side, right? And it had a lot of ancient temples, because the ancient people knew that this was a very, very spiritual place. And I've been to these temples, and wow, that was really out of this world. So if you ever go there, please visit these temples in Gozo and in Malta, because it's absolutely stunning. Okay, so I started working in an online company, and I ended up working in SEO, which is what I'm still doing today. And I had a boss there that was really into spirituality, and she was telling me about a spiritual retreat that she and her boyfriend were going to bring food to. And I was like, you know what, maybe it's time to have a look and just meet people who had the same experiences as me, because I was really craving to meet like-minded people that, you know, I wanted to have some kind of confirmation that, you know, what I was experiencing, I'm not completely crazy. So I went to this retreat, and I really had a dark night of the soul before the awakening. So I had to sleep separately in this really haunted hostel. It was really so scary that I wanted to go home, actually. So I went back and I told them, you know, I don't speak the language, because it was not an English retreat, it was Lithuanian. So I didn't understand anyone. I was there and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of, I don't want to be here. So we sit down, and there came a guru, and he was also speaking in Lithuanian. So they told me to stay just for the meditation. And I was like, you know, I was really pissed. I was like, I want to go home. Why can't I sleep with everyone else? I cannot speak the language. I paid for what? Like, I'm not enjoying this. So we were sitting in a group, and there was a lady next to me, and she was translating into English. And she told me, you know, at some point, just feel it, feel the energies, and then you will, you know, you will get what he's saying. And I thought she was so annoying at the time. I thought, like, oh, these are these hippies, they're way too floaty. I can't relate to that. So I sit down, and this man starts talking, and I'm starting to, like, whoa, okay. And I'm starting to go in a trance, like, almost instantly. And suddenly I'm out. I can hear in the background, I hear him talk. And it's like I knew what he was saying. Like, I can suddenly understand it. And there is this big, bright light coming through my forehead. And my head went backwards. And I started seeing my whole life flashing by. My childhood, my present time. It was like it was flashing by, and it went to my forehead, and suddenly I forgave I forgave a lot of people. I forgave my family. I knew why I chose them. It was crazy. Like, I was completely out. I had no idea what happened to me. I mean, I did no research on third eye or spirituality. I mean, I knew about people who are psychic, but that was about it. Like, I wasn't really diving into this subject, so I was not prepared. So it just, there was this light coming through my forehead, went in my body, and I started feeling my heart opening. So it was like this warm, glowing energy opening my heart. So I came out of it and it was like, what just happened? So obviously I decided to stay in the retreat, because even though I didn't understand what they were saying, the energies were very much real. And I got a session from this man, and knowing later these women I was with were also very high vibrating women, very special. They were already on the path of spirituality, so I had no idea. I just came to visit, and they did a healing on me. We went to the sea, and it was like this high ecstasy vibration. It was like my head was open, clarity. I saw everything so clear. And actually the guru told me I'm not ready to go home, so I had to stay longer. So I stayed longer in the retreat, and everything felt amazing. It was like life came together, okay? Not knowing that at some point I had to go back to real life. That was the harder part, right? So I went back home and I started opening more everything, because I started knowing how to unlock my chakras naturally. I heard what to do and how to do it. So I meditated, I worked on my chakras, because I had no idea what were chakras. So I looked it up, and you know, I could actually feel them. I could feel them, and they were glowing from time to time, and sometimes burning heat, right? And then one night I was so frustrated, because I thought, what is happening to me? It was like this angelic glow, and I didn't feel completely human. I definitely didn't feel like I felt before, and I thought, I'm not human. Like, what is this? I don't know what's happening to me. And I could see everyone from a very compassionate side. And I was like, whoa, super highly sensitive, but I was definitely not grounded. So the problem was I wasn't grounded. So I was way up into the air, and I went to bed. I mean, I started researching on YouTube like crazy for the months after, right? Like, I wanted to know everything, learn everything, what just happened to me. And then one night I go to bed, and there's this massive bright light, and it's a being. I could see it's a being. I hear it speak to me. And then, you know, it was talking to me where I'm from, that I'm not from here, but many other people are also not from here, right? Like, we have experienced different lifetimes, dimensions, planets, all these things. And this light suddenly integrated. So it came into my body through my throat chakra. And I don't know if I was out of body or like floating above my bed, but it was in my room, or I was actually in my body, but I was awake, 100% awake. This light came into me, and for the months after, it was crazy. It was like a huge integration. My third eye, I felt it move like an eye. It was moving, and I saw white flashes and visions constantly. I saw symbols, visions. I got constantly information. I could see through dimensions where I woke up, and I saw, like in the movie The Matrix, I can't even explain it. It was like these beams, laser beams, and I could see that this is different than we perceive it. And even at work, I think that was the biggest problem. I still had to work in an office and I would be in a meeting and I would see fairies going over the table. And I remember it went so quick, and then my phone buzzed and it was 1444, which is the number I'm still seeing up till today. And I thought, is no one seeing this? Am I crazy? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. And it was just, I could see attachments to people. Like, for example, a colleague had an attachment. I could just see the attachment on the back and different dimensions. This was really a ride. And I had to experience it by myself, because I went to spiritual groups and I told them like what I was experiencing, and they had no idea. They were like, oh, well, yeah. So I really was finding people to relate to, and I had no one to relate to. I really had to take it by myself and learn from people through YouTube. And that's why I feel so inspired to use YouTube, because for me, YouTube was my safety net. That was the place where I could find people that could tell me about it, and that could tell me, okay, you need to do this, that, and to work with it. So yeah, I had weeks and weeks of crying, releasing my traumas. I wasn't crying a lot when I was younger. All these emotions came out. Weeks of crying. I would just walk on the street and I was just tearing down. And yeah, it was really mind-blowing. And my body started upgrading, and you will experience quite extreme pains. And this could be through electric shocks going through your body, to these divine upgrades. So the higher you vibrate, or every time you're going through an upgrade, your body will start to shake. It's like coming energies from the hands, and it's going through your whole body. And I didn't know what it was, you know? I was like, what is going on? Like, my body, my hands are shaking from energies uncontrollably going out, because there was so much coming in. So I started healing and doing healings for people. The right people came on my path to teach me. So it was like the universe helped me deal with these energies and to work with those. But after a while, I felt it was too much. The visions, the constant energies, and I really struggled being in the real world, because I used to be a party girl. I love to go out and be with people, and I missed that part of myself, you know? I was like, I don't want to be this for the rest of my life. I was just like 25, 26. I was like, I'm way too young to do this. I want to be normal. I don't want to carry this. I was like, there's so many people in this planet who want this. Why are you giving it to me? Like, I am the most earthy person. If you look at my chart, I'm a lot of earth. I'm a Virgo. I like to be down to earth. I don't want to be this flying butterfly who's selling spirituality. I actually used to dislike vegetarians, all these things. I became that person that I didn't like. Very funny. And I struggled with these two sides of myself. My old self, who still wanted to go out and have fun. And then my new self, who was channeling extraterrestrials and doing healings. And I was confused. I was like, I don't know who I want to be. I actually want to be both. So I tried to manage both. But, you know, in a way that was difficult, because you had to cleanse yourself all the time, because if you're going out and you're coming back, it's not such a good balance, okay? Because in my mind, when you have this awakening, I saw all these teachers. I was like, I need to become a teacher. I need to become perfect. I need to become celibate, and I need to be this guru teacher. But then I did a session with two ladies, and they told me, Michelle, you're trying to be someone that you're not. This is not who you are. You are healing people just by being you. So just do what your heart tells you to do and enjoy life. You are naturally spiritual, so you don't have to try anything. You don't even have to try. So I did that, and I just let myself be guided and live the human life. And that was probably the best way for me to live it. However, with my lack of boundaries, carrying this spiritual awakening, I attracted a lot of people because you're like a walking vortex, and not being able to say no is an issue. That's a big issue. So I attracted people that were maybe not have got such good intentions with me, and I was like in this ecstasy state constantly. So I was like, woo, yay, let's have fun and do this and travel and experience. I felt so free, and I wanted to share it with everyone. I was like, everyone, come on, let's go. This is the best. You should have this awakening. This is bringing, you know, this is the benefit of having this. And it's like you are in this constant state of ecstasy. You don't need any drugs, trust me. It's, you feel so good all the time, and there's this constant heat, warmth going through you, especially if you had Kundalini awakening, which kind of activated recently within me. So I had to go through another upgrade, right? Because I had an integration, and I'm starting to understand that there are different types of awakenings, because for me it was different, okay? But for other people, you know, there's different ways to activate the chakras, and I feel every experience is different. So I'm just telling you about my experience, how I went through it, because it's so hard to put into words, and I always feel like I should not convince anyone this is real. And I also don't care if people know me in my real life. I'm perfectly okay with them thinking I'm cuckoo. And they laugh about it, you know, oh, she's this spiritual hippie, whatever. I'm completely okay with it. But I also know that when they start to experience these things, I'm probably the first person they're going to come to, which happened in the past as well. Like, people will have visions in their dreams that came true, or they hear a voice. There's so many people who experience out of this world miracles, and they're too scared to talk about it. And, you know, I want that to know that this is normal, okay? This is very normal. We are, how do you say? We have the multiverse within us, okay? And we are different. We're not just one thing. We are different elements, okay? Yeah. It's just, you have to feel it. And I think that's the most important, is that you have to feel it. But this video is definitely for people that are looking for someone or something to relate to, okay? So it's hard to be around others because you feel things so intensely. It's like you can almost, your surroundings become hyper vigilant. It's like you can hear sounds louder, you can see colors brighter. And it was like, if I looked at a tree, it's like shh, it's like going super slow. And it's like, I've never done psychedelics, never done any of it. I don't feel like I want to try it, because just having the awakening, I think I had similar experiences to that. My friends done it, and we start to compare, and I really think that you will be brought into that state naturally, and you have to ground yourself to deal with it. If you're not grounded, you're gonna fly, and it's really hard to be part of this world. So my recommendation is to ground yourself, to be barefoot in nature, on the beach, wherever you are. Put your feet on the ground. Also, in order, if you really want to do work with your spirituality, your diet is very important. Very, very, very important. Fresh foods, ideally, okay, I'm not going against anyone, but ideally very little meat or no meat. No meat is better because there's a lot of anxiety hormones in the meat. And imagine you already being so sensitive, you're picking up this vibration. So if you want to vibrate high and not open up on a low vibration, you're going to have to raise yourself by meditation. So meditate often, learn how to cleanse your aura or go to healers that can heal your aura. You're getting, you can have attachments quite easily because the light attracts it. When you're in your strong power, this won't happen because you're too bright. But when you're tired, like people are tired sometimes, you're going through a rough time, you have to come back to your center and practice meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, any energy related sports. So you can do martial arts as well. It's another great way to stay in your body. So I do recommend you to keep doing sports so you don't float above your body and you become like a floaty object. Stay here, okay? And yeah, if you have to keep your channel clean and clear, okay? Alcohol is another thing, and this is the one I struggled with. Like food, I love healthy foods, and first I was vegan, and now I am vegetarian. So I eat eggs, but only free range biological bio eggs with vegetables, a lot of vegetables, and I make my own nut milk, fresh. And you know, it's about finding the right diet for you, because I don't know what your body needs, but you know, after your spiritual awakening, your body will tell you what to eat, okay? For me, it was no meat, no fish. Right away, I never touched it after the awakening. That was it. I love animals so much. I have so much love for them, so I don't want to eat them. But everybody is different, so listen to what your body needs, because you are going to be your own doctor. And when I had an awakening, I knew how to scan people's bodies, so I can see there in my third eye, I can scan their bodies and I can see where the weak spots, okay? And these are things you will develop once you open up. One thing that's very important is that you stay in the good side, because you can do many bad things with these gifts, because you can read anyone on the planet. You have a certain privacy, being respectful. You know, when I'm with my friends, I'm not telling them what to do. I did that at the beginning because I was like, no, you should choose this path because the outcome is that. So how hard it is, because you're super hyper aware, let people live their own lives, make their own mistakes. Because funnily enough, you're going to be very aware about other people. And this is where people say, oh, but you're psychic, so now you can have a perfect life. Doesn't work like that. No, no, no. You will still live your life, make mistakes. You're going to break your patterns, which you're going to be more aware of once you awaken. But for me, I still made mistakes. It's just that you become more aware of making them. And your work is going to be staying centered. Staying centered, let it flow. And this is why these gurus say detachment. Like, see it, observe it, let it go. You know, don't try to change people. And I tried to do that. And I had to realize that if people don't want to change, and I felt I should stay with people who don't want to change. But I had to realize if they don't grow with me, I have to let them go until they catch up again and we can meet at the same vibration again. People have free will to change or not to change. And there's nothing we can do about it. We can give advice, but we have to let it go. And I was so frustrated, you know, when some people didn't come with me. Like when they didn't grow with me, and I lowered myself a few times to meet them at their level, but it was not good for me. So in some ways, leaving something is good, or take a break so they can catch up, okay? But never force them. to do something they are not ready for or they don't want to do. And this is one of the hardest things I had to realize. I went back into lower vibrations to meet people at their level, but it stopped me from growing. It stopped me from going to the next level. And, you know, it doesn't mean cut off. It means maybe less contact, you know, or lowering the expectations of that person changing. If you're okay with them not changing, it's okay. Let it be. Have a coffee or have a tea together and just, you know, let someone be themselves. And that was something I had to learn, that everybody has their own path and we should not interfere, even though we see the future, even though we know that's not the right person for them. You can say, if they don't want to take it, let it go. Let it go. Focus on you, focus on yourself, and that will help you with your growth, okay? So definitely healthy foods, meditation, practicing. If you really want to do readings for people, you can practice with your friends, you can practice with people, but make sure you have good boundaries. And because I was so compassionate, I barely charged any money. I wanted to be a good person, and so many people took advantage of me, and it's not their fault, it was mine. I didn't have the capacity to say no. I wanted to help everyone, and that was with so many teachings that I saw. You have to be compassionate, you have to help people, be of service, and I was just giving myself away. And then I went to these drops. So I had these peaks, right? Because I was doing really well. I gave all my energy away and I was right back at the start. And this was my cycle that kept happening a few times. And I had to learn, you know, in the past few years to be firm, So follow your heart. You don't have to do anything in energy fields if you don't want to. You can have an awakening and be the best business owner. We need those aware business owners. We need people that make furniture that are out of this world, because trust me, your talents will be heightened. I started writing poetry. I was really bad at writing, and suddenly I could write. I was channeling blogs. Everything went naturally. And the reason I started doing intuitive astrology was because I had a very, very, very vivid dream that I was teaching a class, and it wasn't astrology, it was intuitive astrology. And this dream was so real, so real, that I knew this is the path I have to take. And then everything happened. I met my teacher, Allison, and she was so lovely. And I did this after work, so I was still working in the office until like 2019. So I was doing extra hours. I studied astrology after work. So even before I took the teachings, I was already studying it for 3 years. And I really got into it because of, because of a lady that I did a reading with, and she was so accurate. She's a Vedic and Western astrologer, and I was so intrigued by what she said that I wanted to know how to do that. I was like, I want to learn this. This is so cool. And this was really adding up to the analytical skills that I was having doing SEO, so search engine optimization in Google. It's very analytical, and you know, astrology was also analytical, and I could combine it with my intuition. So, you know, what you can do is to figure out what you're good at and merge it. Make it authentic to you. Make it authentic to who you are. You don't always have to follow these rules, how things were. You make it your own, you know? You make things according to who you are, because there's only one of you. And this is so important, you know? Like, to stick to who you are. And this is something I had to learn, that I was gonna follow my heart and do what I want. And I only make videos here that my heart tells me to do, no matter the number of views, okay? Because I had videos, I did healings, and they came from my heart, and there were very little views, and some of my my clients were like, oh my God, you don't have many views. You're not gonna quit your YouTube channel, or you're not gonna stop. The thing is, I'd rather have 100 people that are gonna be inspired by this video than have 10,000 and it's because the rankings told me to make this video. I will not do it. I keep SEO for my blog and for my work, but I want my videos to be me. I don't want it to force it. I'm going to do what my intuition is telling me to do and follow that, okay? And it's learning how to trust yourself. If you have a bad feeling, listen to it, because your intuition is so correct. And with me in relationships, I had such trouble listening to my intuition. I knew that I was with the wrong person, and I would still pursue it, and, you know, not trusting me. So this is a very important lesson. Even though I was so intuitive, I didn't listen to myself, which is odd, because I was reading other people so easily. So go inward. Very important. If you have upgrades, pains, take a break from meditation, because your body needs rest. So when you're going into these upgrades, your body needs rest. If you're seeing things through dimensions, feel, is this good? Yes, or is it bad? No. Your body will tell you, okay? If you're channeling, you will feel if this is a good or is it bad. Because good is full of love. It's full of love. You will feel like your heart is exploding. There is no denying that something good is channeling information through you. And maybe I will come at a point where I will do light language and channeling on this channel, because I'm doing it behind the scenes. But yeah, let me know in the comments if that's something you would like me to do more publicly. This is something I'm still not bringing to the forefront yet, but let me know if that's something you would like to see. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna keep it here, because 40 minutes is a long time. But let me know if this was useful to you, and if you had a spiritual awakening, how was that for you? I made a video before about me and seeing other dimensional beings like extraterrestrials. I'm so happy it's coming more to the forefront. You're seeing more and more people coming out about it. I know my experiences are real, 100%. They're real. It happened multiple times, and I'm just so happy that it's becoming more normal. And I want people to know that they're not crazy, okay? And go to someone, if you can, that can help you, or follow meditations from people. There's so many beautiful people. Listen to your intuition, who is there, okay? If you're following someone, listen to your heart. Is this person resonating with me? Yes or no? And then you can slowly work on, yeah, getting into a higher vibration. But staying centered and grounded is important, because otherwise it's going to be very hard to live normal life. Now I'm doing all the normal activities, and I'm doing my spirituality for me, because it's a path that I'm taking. It's not going to be for everyone, but I also, yeah, for me it was an instant awakening. It was so scary. I had to go through so many things. At night, I felt like, I mean, I had several out-of-body experiences flying through the universe, and I was awake and I was somewhere flying far away. So, yeah, listen to other people's experiences. Stay centered. You're not crazy. Spend time alone to recover, okay? You can, right after your spiritual awakening, you're not going to be ready to come back to life, you know, to come back to the real world. Do not try to convince people anything. They have their free choice. They are living different lives. We are here because we are experiencing some part of life, and we have to respect that other people are not ready or don't want to go there. We have to respect it. And these are very important lessons when you awaken, that you're not trying to force it on other people. Also, it's tough for people, you know, sometimes religion and this are not coming very well together. What I've seen in my family that are very religious, I am being respectful of them. I'm not trying to convince them. I just being me, my earthly self, okay? It's hard to understand this from a place where you haven't experienced it, because the amount of love you're feeling is undeniable. It's so beautiful, and I wish it for everyone to feel that. But there are going to be some things coming with it, okay? But you will be in a state of bliss. It will be a state of bliss, and you can see it in people's eyes, right? Your eyes will clear up, and it's like your eyes are smiling. And this is because you feel this internal flush of energies. But yeah, extreme heat in your body is part of it as well. So take a lot of rest after you experience it. Come back to the center and give yourself lots of time and lots of love to deal with it, because it's a lot, but it's so beautiful. Because I feel like when you embrace it with love, you will only have beautiful guides. You can meet your guides. You can experience all the beautiful things that come with a spiritual awakening, okay? Bless you so much. And if you have any more questions, or you want me to make another video like this is kind of new, but I really felt guided to do this. So I know the people that are watching, you need to hear this. And thank you for being on my channel. I appreciate you. So much love. Bye bye.